Hello everybody and happy Halloween. This is the scary edition of Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns. Back with us again we have Detroit Larry, who's he's representing pretty much all Detroit sports teams.
Minus the Pistons.
Yeah, minus the Pistons. Well, because they
don't play right now.
And we have the scary version of Derek Lawson.
Extra scary.
Yes, host of 88.3 WXUT's main event, Saturdays, 9 a.m. to noon. Also the voice of the Rockets.
Yep.
I nailed it. I always mess that one up.
When are you going to be a guest on the show?
We'll talk. Hopefully soon. But Saturday mornings are tough for me. I'm not an early riser.
Like I said, invitation's always open.
Okay. All right. I will at some point. Don't worry.
Any of your guests too.
Okay. But yeah, we had the big weekend, this holiday weekend. We had a lot of NFL. We had the World Series. We had college football. We had bad news. Well, kind of mixed in bad news and good news with the NBA. We'll start with the World Series. Really a very entertaining series. I mean, you thought at each time, different points that, this series is over. Texas ends up fighting back, takes a 2-game lead, heading back to St. Louis. St. Louis...
1-game lead, 3-2.
1 game?
Yeah, 3-2.
My bad. They have Game 6 on the brink of elimination 2 different times, down to their last strike, end up scoring to tie it up and then walk off. I was listening to it on the radio, which is so much fun to listen to games on the radio. I know you're a big fan of Joe Buck.
Oh, God, Joe Buck is awful.
Yeah, ESPN radio is way more entertaining than Joe Buck.
And then you throw in Tim McCarver, who's master of the obvious and potentially the worst announcer of our time. It's dreadful listening to those guys. I couldn't listen to them during the ALCS, and it was painfully awful listening to them during the World Series. So.
Yeah, that's just my thing. I love listening to games on the radio just because the announcers... In television, outside of Hawk Harrelson for the White Sox,
Put it on the board, yes.
they have to try and be unbiased, which is why I love Mark Beyer, UT's play-by-play guy, just because he does get into it. And his call, in the World Series, his call of the game winner was awesome because he really got into it. But that's just me. I know you're a big baseball guy, and I know you don't like the Rangers. Tell me your thoughts on the series.
I don't like either team, to be perfectly honest with you, but the Cardinals were the lesser of two evils at this point because the Rangers beating my Tigers was a lot fresher in my mind than St. Louis beating the Tigers in the World Series 5 years ago. But Texas, they had their chances. Yep. They had so many chances to put the Cardinals away. You're up 3-2. You take care of business at home. You get your split on the road to begin with. You have everything set up perfectly for you. You're down to your final strike with your reigning Rookie of the Year on the mound. Can't get the job done. You go into extras. You got them again down to their final strike. Can't get the job done. I mean, the one thing that won Texas the ALCS was their bullpen against the Tigers. The Tigers couldn't figure out Ogando. They couldn't figure out Mike Adams. They couldn't figure out Feldman. But all those guys just didn't pitch well in the World Series once they got going. I mean, hell, Alan Craig hit Ogando around 2 straight games, for goodness sakes. So, and then Pujols came up big. Lance Berkman was big. Freeze was a monster in the World Series. I mean, Texas lost it. I'd almost lean more towards that than St. Louis winning. St. Louis had a lot of clutch hits and made 2 great comebacks, but Texas had their chance. They're going to be kicking themselves for losing that World Series.
Yeah, on main event we said they pooped a hammer. That's what Texas did. I don't understand. You're up by, what was it, 2 runs?
Josh Hamilton home run.
Well, that was in the extras.
Yeah.
That's the extras. But in the 9th inning, there's 2 outs, 1-2 count. Why would you throw a 98-mile-per-hour fastball up the middle? Why not throw something else that would make him chase it? Yeah. It's a changeup or a slider.
And to boot, the awful defense by Nelson Cruz trying to catch that ball.
Yeah.
Any sane outfielder would have just turned, run up, and caught it up against the wall. And he looked like he was petrified to run into the wall that whole time. I don't know what he was thinking out there. He had a couple of defensive blunders in the playoffs, and that one, you catch the ball, it's over. Yep. And let it go over his head, and triple later and 2 runs, and there you have it.
They blew it.
Yep,
yeah,
definitely.
And you were pretty much World Series champs right in your hands, and you blew it.
Congratulations to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes.
They had a hell of a season. They were on the brink of elimination in the regular season, too. They had to have an unbelievable...
10 games back.
Yeah.
10 games back in August, come all the way back, win on the last day of the regular season, get into the playoffs, beat the Phillies on the road in Game 5, beat the Brewers on the road in Game 6, and win at home. I mean, in Game 7 being down 3-2, I mean, team of destiny. What else are you going to say about them if you're going to pull all those feats off in one season?
Now, do you give the Atlanta Braves a championship ring, too?
You sent them a nice thank you.
Make a nice assist.
Yeah.
All right, moving on past the World Series, we had a lot going on with the NBA. They're still in a lockout. Well, a while back, they canceled the first 2 seasons. Now the talk is they're going to cancel...
2 weeks.
First 2 weeks, now the talk is going to be gone through November. How bad is this going to get before it gets better?
It's the main sticking point is the BRI. That's pretty much the players in the last contract got 57%. The owners want 50-50. The players want 52. It's going to come down to, I'd probably say, a 49-51 split, basically. That's what it has to come down to, is with the BRI. There's also system problems, too. The players believe that they get limited access as being a free agent, because if there's teams with a luxury tax, they're not going to sign a veteran because they want to get rid of the MLE.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get any better. I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't think the owners are going to budge on the 50-50. They really want it down to that, even split. I mean,
they have to. They're losing money.
And
it's too much money being
I think
lost.
and they're losing money, but they're the ones writing the checks. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they have more money to back themselves up with. I think the players will cave sooner than the owners will, because you're going to get those lower end players that are going to say, hey, I'm not getting my paycheck now. And I mean, like LeBron and Kobe and those guys, they're set for the rest of their lives. It's guys that are on the end of the bench and are, fighting for their lives. I mean, granted, they still have thousands and thousands of dollars, but they're going to be the ones that are going to start complaining first. And that might, push the players a little bit, but I don't see any resolution coming anytime soon.
There might be a flaw with that, though, because before, with the last lockouts, the only major player was Mike Jordan. Now you've got 5 or 6 guys, and they're adamant on running the show. So these lower end players, they might say something, but they're going to be ignored.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, guys. Do they play?
If they do it,
so.
I don't know. I think if they don't get anything done by the middle to end of November, they're done. I don't think you come back maybe you come back in January.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they don't get a deal done by the end of November, there's no way. You could probably run a 40-game season like they did in '99,
50
or 50-game season,
which is better.
But I agree. 82 games is way too long. But I don't know if they probably have about a month. If they don't get it done in a month, they're probably looking at nothing.
I probably think this is the best thing that's happened for them. They were trying to cram an 82-game season in a shortened time span, and players are going to get hurt just like the NFL. There's no way you can do that. You got to have at least a month of preseason and a month of training camp. You can't just do 2 weeks and okay, let's play.
Yeah.
So I think this is for the best. The only thing is the BRI. If they get over the BRI, they'll have it, and I think that's it. So I think they'll have the deal done by end of November.
Yeah, well, that's the NBA. We're going to move on to college football. Big day yesterday, big day Saturday. We had Notre Dame pounding Navy. I will say, they needed that to happen. They needed that to happen.
Another gimme.
Yeah, another cupcake on their schedule there.
The past 2 years, well, they beat them up the year before, and last year, Navy stopped Notre Dame. So it was nice to see them finally being able to handle Navy after what they've been... After especially
Notre
the
Dame,
loss.
they should handle Navy.
I agree. I definitely agree. But there's not much you can say about that game. Michigan, they played Purdue. They looked pretty tough. Do you see them being able to go on a run, continue their run that they're on?
Well, the one thing that they have going in their favor is that these other teams in the Big Ten keep losing.
Yeah.
They are still in the hunt to get into that Big Ten title game. They got to beat Ohio State. They got to beat Nebraska. Michigan State lost again yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin has 2 losses now. Not that they're in the same division, but then that's another loss.
Yeah.
I mean, they're starting to slowly put things together. Granted, Purdue is not good. Purdue and Minnesota and Indiana are at the bottom of the Big Ten.
Purdue.
Yeah,
Yes, Purdue. There's no boilering up yesterday. But, I mean... I like the direction they're going in. Their defense is so much more improved than it was last year, but they still got a ways to go. Those last 2 games are going to be what decides their season. If they can somehow pull out those games against Nebraska and Ohio State at home, then who knows?
I try to get people to predict. Aren't backed off his prediction. He won't say it again. Ohio State, Michigan.
I don't want to see it yet. I want to see Braxton Miller one more game because he grew a lot yesterday.
Yes, he did.
I assume we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
He looked a lot better, but I think he's still got a ways to go. Ohio State's offense is still kind of inept at a lot of times, so I don't know. I give Michigan an advantage because they're playing at home. I think in that rivalry, playing at home is a big key. But I don't know. It's way too early. Give me another week and let me see Miller against another team and see what happens.
And especially Michigan, they have the press boxes now, so the sound stays in instead of going out. And it gets really, really loud in there now.
Ohio State wins.
Yeah, Ohio State wins?
Sorry. Ohio State's defense is just murdering people. I mean, they really shut down Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still not a believer of Michigan yet. I'm still not. It's just something about them that I just feel that they're going to collapse at the end of November. So
I'm not a full believer, and especially when they play those good defensive teams, Robinson's had trouble, and that's what worries me about that game.
All right, now you mentioned Ohio State, Wisconsin. That was a really entertaining game. I mean, I had to run upstairs because I heard everyone screaming. I was watching on the TV downstairs, so I ran up. Please, give me that look. Yeah, it was just entertaining game. Ohio Braxton, like you said, grew up a lot in that. He is looking a lot better than when we first saw him. Ohio State, they are looking a whole lot better than how they started. Do you see them putting it all together?
I think that bye week is what helped him. I heard
Yeah.
Fickle really, basically the whole bye week was working on the offense. Now we still have Bowman there, so obviously he's no genius, but they looked a whole lot better on offense.
Yeah.
They actually were producing points, and the defense is way better than when they played Toledo. Like I said, I watched them play against Toledo, so it looks like they're figuring things out. Remember, most of those guys are true freshmen. You got Braxton Miller, true freshman. Some of the receivers are true freshmen, so they got to really get it together.
And getting Boom Heron back was the big thing.
DeVar Posey will probably be back too at the end of the season.
Yeah, Heron gives them a legitimate big play threat out of the backfield, and that's something they didn't have those first 5 games.
Right.
I mean, he helps them a great deal and takes a lot of pressure off Braxton
Miller, so he doesn't have to make something happen.
Now, I mean, I keep looking at you.
I see you try not to laugh.
That throws me off. So, we'll jump right into that. I know you watched the game. You were loving it. You're not a Tebow guy. Take it away.
Tim Tebow sucks. This guy is not good. I'm tired. I heard the
Tell us how you really
I heard
feel.
the love fest all week on ESPN. It was driving me insane.
You're not beamed up by the mothership.
No, I'm not beamed up by the mothership. I was getting so disgusted hearing all this. Tebow's so great. They beat the Dolphins. We could take a high school team. Whitmer might go give the Dolphins a run for their money right now.
Actually, no, I won't touch that. Continue.
Anyways, no, I mean, the Lions, today was probably the most complete game they've played all year. Stafford, he finally had a good first half.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of rough first halves this year, and he hasn't really been clicking on all cylinders. And really, after about the first quarter, he was just in sync with everyone. He got Scheffler involved early, which I enjoyed, because I like when they get their tight ends going early. He got Calvin going late. Titus Young, was 35 yards wide open on that touchdown.
How does that happen?
That was one of the worst defensive breakdowns I've seen in an NFL game in a long time. The defense, just really throttled Tebow. They weren't going to let him do anything today. It was just a good overall performance. And people are going to look at Tebow's numbers, and they're a little skewed from the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But he was pathetic in that game.
Oh, yeah.
When the Lions returned the interception to pick 6 for a touchdown, the yardage on that was 3 times more at the time than what Tebow had passing so far. So, Tebow, he's just not good. He's not accurate. He stays in the pocket way too long, holds onto the ball, tries to make things happen, and it just killed him. He sacked him 7 times. And Sue was quiet all day long. He didn't really have a big game or anything, but it was everyone else took care of business, and I enjoyed that the Lions kept doing the Tebow after sacking him or making plays. That put us on the high.
What was the Tebow?
When he gets down and does his prayer thing after he scores, they call that the Tebow or whatnot now.
Yeah, it's the new planking. You just random places you go down, just
do the Tebow, and he got sacked by Stephen Tulloch, and Tulloch did it right after he sacked him. Tony Scheffler, when he scored his touchdown, went to first he went to do it, faked it, then did the Mile High Salute instead because he used to play in Denver. So I think that was kind of the slap in the face to them of, hey, that's what you get for trading me.
All right, Derek, we got about 30 seconds left. Who was your best team this year? This week.
That's pretty bad this week, but I don't know who to say was really that great. I'd actually say in a loss, Miami looked decent.
Yeah.
In a loss, they looked really decent. They're 0-6. Reggie Bush said they stink.
Yeah.
And then some of his teammates shot back at him, and they played really a good 3 3/4 quarter of ball, and then the Giants came back on them in New York.
They played a lot better today. There's promise there, but they're still very young.
So Soprano and Dable as
they're just in a very bad situation at the moment. There's not much they can do.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and do Pat's piece. See you then. You really can't discount the job Coach Jim Harbaugh has done with the San Francisco 49ers this year. Before he came there, they hadn't won the division or had a winning season since 2002. Now, since then, they had the woeful Dennis Erickson experiment, which gave them Alex Smith as prize for being the worst team in the league that year. Now, after they thankfully fired him, they hired Mike Nolan, who was also bad, fired him, and then they got Coach Mike Singletary, who after a few seasons fired him too. Now, the change he has done has been incredible. The defense is tough. The running game is at times unstoppable. And the fact that they're in the weak NFC West, there is no reason that they shouldn't own this division for the foreseeable future. Seems like the people of San Francisco finally have something to cheer about. This has been Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns, Mr. Pat. Happy Halloween, and see you next time.
For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did